Thanks for visiting Patient Weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather stress forecast for April 3rd, 2026. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. We also maintain a storefront on Amazon. Amazon purchases made through our Patient Weather storefront support the activities of Patient Weather. April 3rd does look like it will be a very active weather day for the heart of the country, especially up the plains. There is a massive low pressure center trying to develop across Iowa, cool front hanging back through Oklahoma City, across Texas to Albuquerque, the warm front running across the lower portion of the Great Lakes all the way up to northern Maine. Note that there will be a lot of wintry weather across the northern plains to the upper Great Lakes, and a massive swath of unsettled weather up the Mississippi Valley and across the Ohio Valley. Looking at our vitality index, which is a composite measure of where there would be some kind of weather event impacting human health, and you'll notice that there's a lot of activity going on here across the lower portion of the Four Corners and up through the northern plains. Another host of activity across the Great Lakes, but a very significant area of activity here in New England. Looking at pressure change, very interesting, because with that massive frontal system, we have post-frontal rising pressure almost all of the west, especially through the Rockies and the plains, and extending over to the Great Lakes. However, we have falling pressure, a low pressure system hanging over the northeast from eastern Pennsylvania and Maryland across New York and all of New England. Looking at temperature change, here we have a little bit of interest also. Note that we have rising temperatures here in the Pacific Northwest, and there's always some kind of migraine increase with temperatures rising over 10 degrees. We have a significant cool down happening here in the high plains, especially across western Nebraska. Note a little bubble of rising temperatures here in Iowa with the center of the low, a little bit of colder air here across the northern Great Lakes, and then extreme or better warming going on across most of New England. Looking at dew point temperature change, again following that pattern, but something I always like to look at is here in the center between rapidly decreasing dew point temperatures and rapidly increasing dew point temperatures here in West Texas. Note also that there's that one area of significant rising and falling up here in the Great Lakes area, so something to look at. And on the vapor pressure, you can see this even more significantly with the rising vapor pressure stretching all the way from West Texas up toward Iowa. Also note the vapor pressure increases here on the Atlantic coast. Another interesting aspect with instability, showers, thunder showers, and you can see there is that significant rise up through Texas and Dallas, but then again another bubble of instability here across Illinois. Looking at the change in oxygen availability, as this is always a significant impact, and you'll note that we have a risk of asthma and arthritis here in central and northern California, across all of Oregon, and extending itself into northern Nevada and southern Idaho. Note again, we have that area of arthritis and asthma with the falling pressure here in Iowa, and then we have a very significant risk of asthma and arthritis from Maryland to eastern Pennsylvania across New York, all of New England. Looking at the potential or the health stresses for migraine, you can see we pick up that stress down here in Southern California and along Western California's border into Nevada, especially strong across the Four Corners, especially the northern states in the Four Corners, and very sharp up the high plains and the plains from Oklahoma all the way to western North Dakota, with really significant going on here in eastern Montana and eastern Wyoming. Also a risk of asthma, or migraine, very, very strong across Chicago, up through Wisconsin, all of Michigan, and picking up east and trying to stretch into upstate New York, however, not quite getting there. There is that nice little bubble of migraine risk trying to get into probably very close to Erie, Pennsylvania, and across Cleveland. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, let us know where you're located.